Thanks for what you do with your podcast and all the rest. You're doing a great job. Hope everybody keeps tuning in. You get a lot of good info, a lot of insights, understandings of how to get strong, how to stay strong, how to use your strength.
You do a great job, dude. You make things better than they are in real life, I think.
If you don't follow Massonomics, y'all do it. Social media, website, everything.
Massonomics.
Welcome to Massonomics, the world's strongest podcast. Find us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Massonomics. Make sure you go visit Massonomics.com. There you'll find the rest of our powerful content. While you're there, check out our store and buy yourself some of that sweet Massonomics gear. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's episode of the Massonomics podcast. I'm Tyler. Next to me is Tommy.
What's up?
And over there is Tanner.
Hello.
So this week is, I'd say there's a pretty serious landmark this week for us, guys. This is episode 100. So for those of you that have been listening to us since episode 1, our moms and also us.
Us, ourselves.
Thanks for all the support. And for paying our car payments, cell phones and stuff.
Are you surprised that we made it to 100 episodes?
Well, I'm not, because I knew that the only way to do it was to you have to do it for the long haul.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of people that want to be, what was the saying? People want to be internet famous, but ain't nobody want to make no content. Yeah. And it's you don't even if you've been listening to this podcast, you don't even have to be good at it. You just have to do it a lot.
Yeah, we talk about that a lot. If we can just last longer than the other guys.
Yeah, here we waited out Mark Bell and Jim McD.
Yeah.
We basically, that was our achievement in 100 episodes. We buried the Power Cast.
Yeah. We put them under.
Technically, they have more episodes than us, but it is a later point in time, and we're still going.
They're the ones that shut it down.
We could catch them, though, probably within
9 or 20 years.
Yeah. I'm also not too surprised, because I don't think we went into it thinking we're going to give it a shot. And
I'm just surprised. The number 100 just sounds big.
Yeah.
100's really? We did this 100 times? I guess we didn't exactly do it 100 times. We had some different combinations of people here and there, but 100 is a lot of episodes. 100's a lot of anything, really.
Yeah.
It is interesting because I don't even... it's hard to describe that. It's not even really... It's difficult to do 100 episodes, right? But that's only because you have to do one thing on time without exception for almost 2 years.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So, have you gone to work without exception on Monday morning every single day for 2 years? Well, not really. You get one day off. You get this holiday here. You took yourself a 4-day weekend. These motherfuckers got to drop on Monday morning no matter where we are.
Yep.
So that becomes, it's actually aside from raising children, it's my greatest responsibility.
It just to get it out every week, though, takes some work.
And if you want to know the measure of Tanner and I's friendship, I look back at my text messages from Tanner, and it is every single week, always. There was a time where it was maybe 20 messages in a row.
It said,
hey, when are you going to get that episode uploaded so I can do the video? Hey, when are you going to get that episode uploaded? Hey, when are you going to have that episode uploaded? Hey, and it was just on and on. I was like, man, I am the fucking worst. And it was the same this week, too.
Well, you know what they say. It takes a village to raise a child.
Yes, basically. And
a podcast.
The thing is, for Tanner, you guys, this is... For Tanner, how long does it take to upload, not even edit, but upload a podcast episode? Because the video quality is so high.
So I usually try to get started on Friday, started uploading on Friday evening.
But when I don't upload the audio even for him to start, he can't do anything.
Since we do use, we're pretty high tech, we use multiple camera angles here.
Yep.
So in order to go...
Like any legit movie set does.
Right, of course, and any super legit podcast.
You guys have seen Seinfeld.
So it takes me, our episodes are an hour long, so even if I skim a little bit, I'm usually only skimming 20 seconds at a time, because I have to know, if I put it on you, and then you
And
stop
it's just me
talking
sitting
15
here
seconds
just-
ago,
just smiling,
and that's the
shaking my
camera.
head.
It kind of looks weird, you know.
So
I-
you do have to engage in every second.
yeah, I skim about 10 seconds. Like I'll change it, and then if I'm not really watching it purposely for a reason, I'll skim 10, 15 seconds.
Yeah.
And if it's still that person talking, I'm like, all right, we're good. I'll let it go a little more, and then I'll switch to the full one. But yeah, it basically takes an hour to watch an hour, you know, at least. But then to make that a clip onto my computer, that what would you call that?
Like exporting.
To export it, yeah, to export it.
That takes at least an hour.
Isn't that fucking insane?
Yeah.
It's like, I don't even know. Why is that a thing? Because the thing
Yeah,
is on
it's
the computer.
on my computer.
We
Yeah.
just did the thing.
Yeah, and like that's tied direct. Like that's just tied directly to your computer's performance.
Right. And so once I have that, then I can start uploading it to YouTube, and that's what takes a long time. It doesn't take any work. It just I have to start by a certain time, or else it's not going to be done by a certain time. So I start Friday evenings,
like Thanksgiving dinner.
Just like a
Turkey
good
best
turkey.
be in the fucking oven,
yeah.
man.
If I start it on Friday evening, it's done sometime Sunday.
And then do you put a notification out to the family and say, "Be careful of the internet for the next 2 days"?
I say what the problem is if someone goes in and like logs out of like my Google, like the Gmail,
Yeah,
'cause
just
that,
your
like,
Google
screws- yeah,
account,
my
yeah.
Google account, because then it screws up YouTube and it like cancels the upload. But what's
That's when you hear Tanner
I'm
yell
like, who-
from across the house.
Who the hell y'all are in Gmail? You know you can't check your Gmail on the computer from Friday through Sunday.
Get your own computer, losers.
No, it is her computer, so that's kind of
That's the you're like, ooh, yeah. You can't really dig your heels in on that one.
no.
It's like,
But
hey, Mary.
is there any way I could
Would you
convince
mind
you
logging
to
me back
not-
in? Logging me, and then don't ever fucking do this again, please. From Friday to Sunday.
But what the thing I'm thankful for is that it saves like however far you made it,
like your progress. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but it takes a while for like that to kick back in. So you like start to upload it again, and it looks like it's 0%, and you're like, oh, are you kidding me? Come on. And then you might look an hour later, and it went back to like the 62% that it was at. But it takes from Friday night to Sunday sometime.
Yeah.
To get onto.
And then what
YouTube.
happens is Tyler is supposed to upload it and post to the website and post to iTunes and all that stuff Sunday nights usually, but then Tyler tends to fall asleep early. So Monday mornings is when I'm supposed to do it, and that sometimes gets weird with jobs and classes. And then sometimes there's another follow-up text from Tanner like, hey, are you going to publish that episode today? So like, shit, yes.
I've always wondered behind the scenes how that process works. I've noticed sometimes.
Tanner basically spends his entire day sitting there on Monday going, fucking this fucking guy. And you know, we haven't even talked about this part off the air. But you know you can just be like, remind me when the moment it starts to bother you. I'll be like, oh, good.
That's not usually what I'm like, though. I was more of like,
I want to stew on it.
But on the Monday part of it now, that I don't worry. I know that you're going to do it.
It'll happen
eventually. So
eventually.
I pretty much don't worry too much about that. I know that you'll get.
And if those
get it
of you
eventually.
can't get it on your Monday drive to work, get it on your Tuesday drive to work.
Yep.
You know, it drops Monday.
But pro tip: if you do want to watch it earlier, I always publish
It's on YouTube.
the YouTube version Sunday night.
Yeah,
Is
basically
usually
a
once we
full day
finish
before.
recording, I'll so it's already done right now. The video is done and ready to go. I just have to make it public right now, and I'll usually do that like when we leave here. So if you really want it early,
That's how you get it.
YouTube's your source.
YouTube Sunday night.
Yeah.
One full day early.
If you just cannot stand like that wait, that suspenseful wait for Monday-ish,
Maybe we
sometime.
should get we should sell premium content where we'll give them access to that like 3 hours early.
Yeah.
There's people are doing that.
Yeah,
like,
I know. It's crazy.
Like who's buying that?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean,
Or like, isn't
for anyone's podcast. Ours,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
understand
you're right.
because it's awesome.
But what podcast can you be like? Oh,
doesn't Mike Rowe do that? Like, if you are in his thing, you get the next week's. You're just a week ahead, aren't you?
he does. He?
I
Or-
think so,
okay,
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
He does. And you know who else does that now is YouTube guy, the Bro Science guy.
Oh,
really?
Dom.
Because he makes so many jokes about how YouTube has like effed him not
Yeah.
him specifically, but
Everybody.
His
Yeah,
his
and-
channel kind of has gotten screwed by YouTube a little bit, I think.
Right. So he has a thing now, like he has his own site, I think, where you can pay a little bit to watch his stuff.
Okay.
Before it comes out on YouTube, and he's basically always just trying to get people he's
away
on
from
advertising for YouTube. It seems like.
Because what did he get? Didn't he get in a bunch of trouble with them for he was like, wasn't he running ads within his content, and then they started rubbing issues with the ads that YouTube would slap on his.
Okay.
I don't know. I just
videos.
figured he got into some kind of trouble because he seemed like a lot of videos he had, he was really
Yeah.
bitter towards YouTube,
Yeah,
which a lot
he
of people
is.
were for a while.
Yeah.
But then, like, it seemed like his whole like advertising, all that changed a lot.
Yeah.
Do you guys know what YouTube just did recently as far the change they made this last week as far as
Yeah,
monetization?
we finally broke 1 million subscribers. Thanks, everybody.
Are you just talking about like the subscriber rules and everything?
Yeah. Now our YouTube channel is not, as a service to you guys, we choose not to monetize our YouTube channel. A, because we don't need 10 cents. And B, then it would add advertisements to our videos that we're not going to make any money off of anyways.
Yeah.
So, but now they changed anyone under 1,000 subscribers and a certain view
You have
count.
to, and do you have to have like a collective like 1 million views or something like that?
Yep. So if you're under those levels, you can't even monetize your channel whatsoever.
Which like the stuff
They
I've heard from
probably
people.
are tired of just transferring
Well,
9 cents.
and that's what like the things I've heard from people are like until you reach like even at that level you're making dollars. Like
You're right.
So what's there to complain when people are like, well, what's the incentive to get into YouTube? It's like if you're purely doing something just for the money, like what's your longevity in it anyways? You know?
Well, I mean, we understood that. Obviously, we never monetized ours because it's like 15 cents is not, what are we going to get $1?
Yeah, and truthfully, with the three of us all being independently wealthy,
We don't need your.
That dirty YouTube money.
Yeah, we don't need
YouTube
that
and their
shit.
billions of dollars.
So you guys have to help
Give
us
it
get
to
over
the bro science
1,000
guy.
so we can start making that money
Have you
again.
seen how rich he is?
He is.
Like,
Don't they say he's one of the richest like fitness personality
yeah, for
guys?
sure. Like and it's like ever been. Like he
And
like,
it's not selling like workout plans.
No,
and
he like there was a video where he like legitimately went to the store and bought went to the car dealer and
The car store?
You know, it's a car store and bought like a McLaren F1, you know, like a fucking $1 million vehicle.
Yeah.
And then and they're just he was just like, well, they're like, did you ever think that you'd be able to do this? And he's like, well, yeah.
Right.
Duh.
Yeah.
Like that's why I knew I could do it. That's why I made sure I made enough money so I could be this guy. And then didn't like Chris Bell had a story where Chris Bell had made Bigger, Stronger, Faster, done such stuff, and he was pulling up to this place in his like busted ass Durango.
Yeah.
And then like out comes the bro science guy, pulls up in like a Maserati.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck, you serious?
It was like at Gold's
He's
Gym
like,
or something.
Yeah, he's like I've made like documentary films.
And I think the whole point was like we have like world champion bodybuilders in this building, and you're the guy pulling up in the Maserati is the guy that makes the videos that make fun of everyone.
In all honesty, maybe I'm alone with this, but I think a lot of his videos are still pretty funny. Like I loved
they're
them.
fucking
I loved
hilarious.
them when it first came out. Like that would be the thing. I'd be like, "Oh, do you watch that?" Like it's so funny. He's making fun of.
But
having a muffin
they've
in his
also
pocket.
like the cool thing about it is they've evolved over time to him being like more critical of the fitness industry in general.
Yeah.
Because it's like a lot of the things he's saying are really true. Like he's like I think the one he had this week was like everyone's a comedian now.
Yeah.
How do you be a comedian? You write comedian in your Instagram handle. It's like and then it's like and then how do you know if you're funny? Well, you do a skit and people make stupid faces and then like you have a lot of followers so they watch it. But then after you've watched it and you realize this isn't funny, but they've already got your view and it's too late at that point. And now you go to the browse page and this comedy video has 1 million views and you watch it too because you fall for it. And it's like it's a vicious cycle of people that are not funny telling you they're funny.
Yeah. But I think he is funny.
He is. Like, and he
He's
does have that.
He's obviously a pretty intelligent guy.
Yes, he can look at that critical.
If you've ever seen, he actually has his own YouTube channel
Where
It's
he's
him
the-
not
where
in
he- yeah.
character, and he still is. I mean, is pretty funny in it, but he's not in character. Yeah, he's pretty fucking smart. Like, he didn't just start freaking like flinging his dick around, talking like an asshole on YouTube and got rich. Like this whole thing
is
was
calculated.
pretty calculated. And then if you look, like his videos are like a joke a second. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Like,
he's
that
firing
is
them
so
off.
fucking hilarious.
Like between the puns and like the like,
and
like-
yet some of the stuff that he comes up with, it's like, man, you had like 150 of those in this 15-minute video. Like, how did you actually come up with all
for
that
some
crap?
people, maybe even us. I mean, that'd be months worth of Instagram content right there. You know?
Yes,
And he's just throwing it out there.
Burns it all in like a 2-minute video. Yeah. He had a bit on. But anyway, back like just the sheer amount of like writing that he has to do just to make something like that happen is crazy. Like that is a shit ton of basically just comedy writing for a 3-minute YouTube video. But my favorite one is he did an episode on chicken. And I don't know if you ever saw chicken, like just the worst, most awful food, you know, like the bodybuilding food.
Yeah,
you know?
I have seen that.
And his whole bit,
Yeah.
you know, the kind of the punchline is at the end was like, chicken, it's bird tits. You gotta boil the fuck out. You gotta boil the poison out of so you don't die before you eat it.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's killing it in a way that you know, really him and us.
We're here. You know, Bradley Martin's here.
Yep.
The rest of the industry
It's
is
an elite
around
club,
here.
and I feel like he also makes fun of Bradley Martin a lot too.
They're
Like,
into cahoots,
but it
obviously,
almost
a
seems
little
like
bit.
he's not doing it in a way that friends do to each other either.
They must be friends though, because they do a lot of
Yeah.
videos together
Yes.
now.
Yeah.
So like it. But yeah, he really like
Rags on it
they're-
pretty
even
hard.
at being friends. A few things Bradley Martin's probably like, dude, like
dial us
It's
the fuck
similar.
in.
It's similar
I'm trying
to
kind of being
I'm
a
trying
prick.
to be famous here.
Yeah.
yeah. It's like similar to in Born Strong when Eddie Hall calls up Brian Shaw.
And you know, Brian Shaw is kind of like,
well,
I'm not
that's
really
not
cool with
very
you calling me a
nice.
fat fucker.
Like that's the first thing you said to me.
Like, I guess you're like one of the couple guys in the world that gets to say that, but
Only because you're fatter
Yeah.
than me.
I wonder if Dom Mazzetti is going to be at the Arnold. Last year, Bradley Martin was there.
Yeah.
And we probably talked. Did we talk about what it was like when Bradley Martin walks into the
I don't-
room
There's like
at the Arnold?
crowds and crowds of people just there to stand around him.
I'm trying to think of who
While he
else
cracks
like
jokes.
had that besides him.
He's the Arnold.
because he was Arnold, but he was
Yeah.
there purely as like he didn't have a booth.
No.
He wasn't like selling stuff. He was
I
there
think he
like
kind
as a
of
dude.
He kind of has that following though, with which I do think if he's gonna go to that thing, have a fucking booth.
Yeah.
Because you're just kind of
a distraction for the
putting
entire
people in
freaking
the
thing.
way.
Yeah.
Like it's like I want to get over there.
Well, plus
And I don't have a problem with Bradley Martin. He's probably a fine guy.
I think it'd be cool to talk to
Yeah.
him. And
Yeah.
But like, and I'm sure much like we talked about Michael Hearn, like he's famous because he's probably pretty charming and good to
Yeah.
talk to. But like, I'm not gonna stand with a crowd of 300 people around a person in there who's just like talking and like doing random
Well, and
crowd
that's-
work.
and that's the thing, yeah, so if
'cause
you-
that's all it is. That's just a crowd that surrounded a person.
because
now
yeah,
he's stuck.
it's Bradley Martin standing there, and he's a pretty tall dude, so he kind of sticks up, and then it's a group, it's
bubble,
a circle all around him, and it
4-foot
starts
bubble.
about
80%
6 inches
chicks.
off of him, and it's probably 150, 200 people that just stand around him.
It's a lot of young people younger than us.
Yeah,
You know,
it's
like,
definitely like the YouTube,
Yes.
yeah, it's a lot of like I would say like
80%
high school kids.
females and 20%.
There was even a lot of dudes.
and 20% small dudes.
But yeah, I was gonna say no one really looked like they lift.
No,
that's
no,
in that
no,
group.
it's Bradley Martin
I'd be
with
willing
a
to-
crowd of like
I actually think
smaller
that anyone
people
who
around
can
him.
deadlift more than 500 pounds is not in that crowd.
But the thing that I want to know is like, so you make your way to the somehow you're lucky enough that you catch Bradley Martin and you're like one of the 4 in the circle around him. So do you
What
get
do
up there
you
and just
talk
like,
about?
we made it, and then like Bradley Martin just talks over you to everyone
Yeah,
else? Like
yeah.
that's got to be super awkward.
It reminds me of if you were in 1999 and the Backstreet Boys walked into like the Mall of
Into the
America.
mall you were at?
and that's what the
Yeah.
same exact people would be like
Yeah.
around him like that.
Yeah, I think if you're famous enough to where like you're getting hit up for autographs, like you probably need to have a booth. 'Cause
Yeah.
you can't just be signing autographs in the fucking hallway. It's weird.
Yeah,
At least for hundreds of people.
right.
But
I guess, like you said, it'd be cool to talk to him, but there's no part of me that was.
well, like when we saw there was a few of those little like crowd clusters like that when he would pop up, and it's like, well, yeah, it'd be nice to like work our way up to that, but I'm not gonna shove my way through all these little people.
Yeah, through all these like under 18-year-old people.
well, if we were in that group, like older people would walk by and be like,
What are you-
What are those perverts doing in there?" You know, it's almost like those guys with beards and they're tall and like you'd stick out.
They're
like a
clearly out of high school.
Yeah.
I got one more year left, guys.
So hey guys, the playground's down the street.
Do you think I forgot to mention this before. Do you think CT Fletcher will be there? I know he's had.
I don't
like
think
a lot
so.
Of
I think he was in for like another like a pre-surgery. They're talking about keeping him there because they might go right into the heart transplant.
Okay.
Now. That was the last update as of like a day or two ago.
Okay.
So I cannot imagine he'll be at the Arnold.
No.
Yeah, you wouldn't think.
Which is a bummer.
Yeah. Well, that almost what I would call like end cap, like capstone booths last year. Like in one corner was
5%.
Rich Piana.
Rich Piana, and the other opposite corner almost was like CT Fletcher, and there was enormous,
huge, lines.
Ridiculous lines for both of those. So I wonder who's going to kind of fill that that void.
The Massanutten. Well, this year we're gonna go.
The real question
actually,
is there going to be any like 5% booth there even? Like
what happened to that? Like what is that
I don't
now?
know. I mean, he owns it. I'm sure there's probably money and it could be useful. I mean, there's sell supplements and shit. So like
I don't follow it enough to know.
I don't
even,
either.
Like,
so I'd be interested to see if they're still selling supplements, still selling apparel. If I was in charge of Rich Piana's estate, I would want them to continue to do those things
that marketing train
until it eventually falls apart, or you got to rebrand it or repackage it. But most of those people were not at those booths to buy supplements. Matter of fact, everybody's standing in the line trying to get free stuff. Is all the lines people I saw, but they all wanted to meet Rich Piana, like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of them at a time. Yeah. So I can't imagine that booth would be worth a damn. And didn't we look at the prices for that booth that size? Is like a couple $100,000.
I don't remember what they
were.
It was
like 150,000
or
or 180
one
grand
or something too.
Yeah, like at that size, where you're like 100 feet or some shit like that. That's like hundreds of thousands of dollars to have that booth there. So I can't imagine they're gonna.
Maybe this isn't maybe this isn't fully appropriate yet, but maybe they would have like a open casket.
Totally.
So was that appropriate or?
I mean, listen.
This is a comedy podcast, so
listen. Ain't nobody listening to this fucking podcast.
I mean, if you watch like a Chris Rock stand-up thing or any of those guys, it's like, man, how do they get away? How do even those guys get away with saying some of the things that they're saying?
I want to find.
Yeah, we're comedians.
Yeah. We just tell people we're funny. I want to see if we can get. If the WWE is going to be at the Arnold this year, because they were in 2016, and I just don't know if they're going to be there this year. Did we talk about that last time?
Yeah.
God, I really want to get fucking the shit knocked out of me up there. Yeah, I don't think it's going to happen, guys. I guess we're just going to have to get into a fight.
Yeah,
like
we'll make
fight.
it on.
Yeah.
Well, this week does mark the first. Well, by the time you're hearing this, who fucking knows when it is? But this is the end of like the first week of the CrossFit Games Open.
So 18.1 is over.
Yep, 18.1 is over. I think people have like one more day to do it. If you retake it, and you're not on the bubble of going to regionals, I fucking don't.
So how many times have you retaken it now, Tyler?
I haven't even done it. Don't plan on it.
What?
Yeah. Well, I'm trained. Like that's the thing people always forget is there's some arbitrary thing that comes up, like the Open. And you're like, if this is what you trained all year for, is to like kind of compete but get smashed by 300,000 people. Like if you're going to finish in the 30,000th or worse place, like why are you putting your entire year's training, like a month and a half's training, fucking it all up, risking injury, doing stupid shit, repeating workouts, tearing your hands because you just had to fucking do some toes to bar workout twice in a row and fucking up a whole week's of training and then wrecking yourself again. So you lose 6 weeks of training out of a fucking year if you do it like an asshole.
Is that there really are 6 of them?
5 weeks.
Oh,
actually.
okay. Still, that's a lot.
But yeah,
But
so
you're
like,
probably pretty trashed after.
well, yeah,
or not.
like
Maybe
yeah,
I
you
don't
can
know.
be. Some of them are, some aren't. Depends on some of them you're just not good enough to wreck yourself either.
Sure.
But like, then people will repeat them. Like, oh, I thought I could do better. I'm going to do it again. It's like, but what? But you just did it. There's nothing at the end for you.
Yeah.
If you're just trying to beat yourself, that's good for you. But like, if you want to be better in a year.
Yeah.
You're not going to, if you get 3 more reps out of this fucking weeks because you redid a 20-minute workout, like nobody gives a fuck.
Yeah.
You should have just worked harder the first time.
Right.
Or nobody cares the difference between, that part I don't get. And then they'll, the other thing that frustrates me about it is they'll celebrate a lot. They'll have like muscle ups or some shit, And everybody wants to try to, even though they can't do them, they'll be like, "Oh, I'll try to get my first one then." And it's like, well, but you should have been practicing it. Like, if you could do more than one, doing one is not much of an achievement if you fucking separate your goddamn shoulders because you haven't done the work or the progression. And that's the way most people end up approaching it. So you'll see if they have muscle ups, everybody will be posting, like, celebrating their, "Oh, I got my first ring muscle up," and you're going to look at a lot of really ugly, really risky shit. And, like, the risk just is not worth the reward for some of that stuff. So, you know, we'd still do the open at the CrossFit gym I own and coach at.
Do you have a lot of guys that do it then?
No,
Or
we've probably got maybe like a dozen people that signed up for it or so.
So when do they do it? Like, in respect
I
to
only let people do it Friday night. Or Friday. I'd program the workouts for class on Friday, but everybody who's not registered, we'll scale them way back, you know, because I don't need anybody wrecking themselves trying to do something they can't do or just shouldn't be doing or that doesn't fit into their plan. So,
and what day do the workouts drop?
Thursday night.
Thursday, okay.
Yeah. If you remember last year, you can look back at our 17.1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We did the...
You were America's sweetheart when it came to...
Yeah, we did the Too Huge for Fitness where... I gave open tip workouts, just the tips, for.
It really was just the tips.
It really was just the tips, and basically, you know, died on camera for 5 weeks. But that was, but that's kind of the way. I don't know. That's the way I look at the open. Like, what if if in the sport of powerlifting, they just issued these weird arbitrary challenges that dropped down for like a month. Like, how, but you got to meet in 5 weeks.
Oh, like it
or
would
in 2 months.
Like, it sounds insane.
So like if somebody issued a deal, Tanner, that was, all right, this week you need to do
75% 1 rep max deadlifts for
exactly, or no, not even that. Like, let's just set a number, right? So if you're stronger, but good for you. Like, if you to do 225-pound deadlifts, 55 reps, and then do. Well, for something that work out to powerlifting, then do 55 back squats at only 135 pounds, and then do 55 calories on the rower, and then 55 overhead presses at 95 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you do that as many times as you can for 20 minutes. Would you fucking do that?
No,
no.
I mean, of course not.
No, like that's so. And not only that, 55 deadlifts for fucking time.
Right.
Like, I'll make sure I do these.
I mean, you're
fast
gonna
as
be.
I can.
You're gonna be wrecked from that, and like not in a good way. You'll be like, well, now I can't move for.
It's like,
a
okay,
week.
well, I wanted to
So now-
bench in 2 days.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
that
Exactly.
workout's
Like, I
gonna go to
have
shit.
training to do,
Yeah.
right? So in no other fucking realm of fitness is that fucking acceptable. Now, again, if you're gonna make it to regionals, good. If you want to just prove something to yourself, that's fine. But no, you're not gonna be like if that sparks a little fire, you're like, fuck yeah. Tanner's like, fuck yeah, I'd like to maybe see how I am.
Yeah, yeah.
Good for you, right? But like, are you gonna do that workout twice then because you didn't feel that you did well enough the first? No.
Right.
And no, that is, I would say, a barbell equivalent to a CrossFit workout that's been in the open the last 2 years, once each year. It was 55 deadlifts at 225, 55 wall balls. That's what we threw in, just light back squats. 55 cals on the row and 55 handstand push-ups.
And there's like tens of thousands of people that do this, right?
Oh yeah, like 300,000 people.
Like, that's the crazy part.
Pay $20. Basically, you have to be in the top 0.0015% to make it to regionals to the next level, or 0.15%. So 1.5% will make it to regionals. So the rest of those people are paying $20 to just see their name on a list in the order with which they rank.
And even if you make it to regionals, like, those regional competitions don't really look like the open workouts, do they?
No, they're usually different too. They're usually much higher volume, and then also, of the people that make it to regionals, you have to be in the like 1%.
Yeah.
And like, there's a lot of people that make it to regionals who will get absolutely fucking destroyed, who will have events that they can't even do in regionals, but they're of the elite enough to make it to regionals. And fucking truthfully, ain't nobody making it. You know what I mean? Like, in your gym, ain't nobody
Wherever
making
you're
it.
from, probably
Probably not.
doing it.
Yeah, you might have one or two. If you're someone like great, if you got one, maybe two, but realistically,
unless your job is to do CrossFit, like, not own a gym, but like, unless your job is to, like, Reebok or some supplement companies are paying for you to do CrossFit, you're not making it to the games, right?
and I'll see people who are like CrossFit gym owners like if you make it to the games, you're a gym owner. I'm like, well, you must have a lot of systems in place with other people
are
doing it because there's no like I barely, get to fucking exercise.
Yeah, right.
Like most gym owners I know. I talked to a guy when we were at Julian's seminar in San Diego. He was a coach there, and we did some conditioning stuff, like just some sled sprints, and it fucking fucked him up pretty bad. And he was like, man, he said, since opening my gym, he was like, my conditioning is worse than it's ever been. Mm-hmm. And this is like a fit guy who's a small guy, and he's like, my conditioning is just dog shit because he's like, I can lift to maintain so I don't look like shit, but he's like, I can't keep my work capacity high. I got a fucking business to run. And but so anyway, we still do the open. I encourage people to sign up if they want to, but I encourage people to do, all of my people is like, all of my clients is like, if you don't want to do it, totally don't do it. Like, don't let anybody convince you that you should do it.
Just because you exercise, your training is CrossFit doesn't mean you have to.
It's like, listen, like if you like playing flag football in your backyard, but the Vikings are having open tryouts, like everybody, let's go, let's fucking fill that place up.
Well, because that's really what it is.
You're competing
it's an
to
open
be a
tryout to make it to the CrossFit Games.
Yeah,
have you heard of Adam Thielen?
Amongst professional athletes.
Have you ever seen that Mark Wahlberg movie?
The what was it? What is
Ted.
that movie called?
Air Bud?
Ted. Yeah, Air Bud. Air Bud. That Mark Wahlberg movie. So how do you?
What is the name of the movie though?
The Replacements?
No,
that's the
like
Keanu
the
Reeves.
Miracle. No. Nobody gives
Philadelphia.
a fuck. Philadelphia. That Mark Wahlberg movie where him
really
and Tom
funny Mark
Hanks, they got the AIDS.
Yeah.
It's terribly sad.
But I could see it though if you did CrossFit, if it's just fun.
Yep, just
like
do
if you think it's fun, like then I wouldn't want to yuck somebody else's yum. Like if they think it's fun, but then I could never see doing it twice because you're not doing it like if you're not actually competitive and you're just doing it because it's fun. Why would you ever really do it again?
And if you're doing it for fun and a training like to maybe just kind of use it as your exercise.
Yeah.
So Tanner, what was your deadlift workout this week? What was it?
Oh, I did.
You picked a good week to ask him.
Yeah, I did 4 sets of 3 of 600.
Jeez.
4 sets of 3. Yeah.
He's like, no big deal, just humble brag. So Tanner did 4 sets of 3 at 600. But what if you really thought that you could have done 5 sets of 3 at 600? So instead of moving on with the next step of your program, you wait 2 days and you take another shot.
That's exactly when you were saying that. I thought that scenario in my head. It was like, say, you had 5 sets of 3 of 450,
do it over
and you missed your last rep. Are you going to then 3 days later be like, all right, like, redoing it?
That goes against everything that like the principles of getting like better. Like
exactly, and that's why repeating workouts is just simply a way to feed your fucking ego because you're too stupid to understand what you're risking. And I tell everybody too, and this goes with people trying to reach to do things in the open that they maybe aren't quite capable of doing, like something along the lines, like say like there's bar muscle ups, right? Sure, take a shot at it, but if you got to swing your fucking chicken wing up and crank your fucking shoulder, I would ask every one of those people who does that, what brought you in here and what are you here to accomplish this year? For a lot of people, I want to get in shape, I want to be healthier, I want to be able to fucking move, I want to be able to look good in the summertime, I want to be able to fucking
that doesn't help with any of
I want to be
things.
able to play with my kids. Well, separating your fucking shoulders so you could prove to yourself that you can do this one thing that you really can't do right. Like you're not gonna fucking prove to yourself that you can drive your car 250 miles an hour. Like maybe prove to yourself that you can drive your car 100 miles an hour first.
And in all fairness, powerlifting and even more so strongman is a little bit. There's definitely risk involved with all
there's that max
stuff.
out factor, but
like also
you don't have to spend much.
Just is like
it's still
is exercise.
It's supposed to be your training.
Yeah, it's
right?
your exercise. Whereas if someone's really into strongman and they're doing that, that's kind of a calculated risk, or maybe just like a known.
But and that's the same thing if you're competing in CrossFit too, as you're taking calculated risk. But if you're not competing, right? If you're not any good at it. Relative, what I mean?
Why get hurt?
Well, my thing when there was a podcast, Power Athlete Radio podcast, had Ben Bergeron, the guy who coaches like Katrin David's daughter, and I think Fraser at some point, and anyway, had coached like the champions in CrossFit. And the way that he approached it was with the average person, he's like, you have no fucking business trying to do any of this shit. You know, these are professionals. And he also said, like, especially with kids, you get like kids wanting to compete, and he's like, get these kids to do fucking team sports. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You know, and it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to just bang your head against the wall to finish 40,000th.
Yeah. Well, and it's not a whole lot different than when you in powerlifting. Probably to me the most comparable thing is when you see people maxing out like every other week, and eventually two things almost always happen. Either one, you just don't get any better, so you quit and burn out, or two, you get hurt and you can't get better because you don't know how to recover because you're just still trying to push yourself and you burn out again. And it's that same thing. It's not a road to longevity in any way.
And that's why I think testing in general is where the risk comes in, right? So if you're testing the most weight you can lift off the floor, you probably should have some sort of technical caveat to that, right? Where it's like, not the most weight I can lift off the floor that moves off the floor. Maybe the most weight I get off the floor with which my spine stays inside my body.
Right.
Same thing with squatting. You know, the most weight I can squat without, you know, risking getting my face shoved through my fucking feet.
Right.
But people go the other way, and they, you know, I see it a lot where people come in and they'll want to see how much they can lift by lifting heavier and heavier until they find the weight they can't lift. It's like, well, what did you learn? Not what you can do. You learned what you can't.
Yeah.
And I just think people run into that stuff all the time when they over-test. And the Open is a 5-week test that's really meant to weed out the best. It's meant to weed you out.
Yeah.
It's meant to be too hard for you so that we know that which people are better than you.
Yeah.
Like way better than you. If you're the average, just like people that are, we want to weed out professionals from the average.
Way better than
and
even people that are pretty good.
Yes, and if you think that you're professional level at this point, then okay. You know what I mean? If you think that, then that's good. But if you know that you're not, take it fucking easy. You know, just do a thing. But I just don't like.
I guess if you're guessing, or if you're like, I think I'm there, you're probably not, because the people that are there are the ones that are like, oh,
who have also been destroying regular people.
Right.
Yeah. Like if you're not just smashing every single person in your CrossFit gym, you're not there.
If people don't come up to you after every workout and be like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
what the fuck? Like if you didn't do 3 times as much work in the same amount of time as the people, like if you're not the best person in your CrossFit gym, you don't have a fucking shot.
Yeah.
And if you are, you also don't. That's just, like the numbers are so high now. You know, it's like competing to be the tallest person in the world. Now, I'm the tallest person in this room.
Yeah.
But here I am. The balls it would take for me to, based on this information, be like, I'm the tallest person in the fucking world, you guys, or at least one of them.
I don't see a taller person around, so I can't disprove that statement, Tyler.
Exactly. And
but
so
hundreds of years ago, the Book of Enoch,
there used to be
100-foot tall men,
200-foot tall men, 30-foot tall men, 40-foot tall men, and they were finding the remains.
Has science gone too far?
Hashtag Bill Kazmaier.
Hashtag Kaz thoughts. Kaz thoughts. We cannot. I don't ever want to shit on Bill for that because it's just so fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's great.
But anyway, so that's the CrossFit Open. However, I do have a super awesome plan. Some gyms will do like Friday Night Lights thing where they make a big deal like every week. And for me as a gym owner, it's like, yeah, I want the 90% of my population or 80% who are just there to try to get fitter to not have to have their shit all jammed up by this fucking competitive fitness. You know, these people are just here to get better. Let's just let them. And but the last week of the Open, so I'm not going to do it every week, but the last week I've got 2 guys that are pretty good at taking shit and talking shit to each other. So we're going to just pit them together head to head. And I've ordered a fog smoke machine, lights. I got a microphone deal plugged into our PA. I tested it out. Got some sweet echo. We're gonna drop the lights,
and nobody knows what the workout is yet.
Nobody knows what. Well, they'll know that day.
Yeah,
they'll know the night before.
But they don't know if it plays to either one.
Yeah,
of those
they don't know.
And that's exactly the problem. Is like because they're not actually that good.
So there might be literally some things they can't do.
So
at
like
all.
if it's double unders with the jump rope, like it's gonna be really not interesting.
yeah.
And also, if there's like ring muscle ups, only one of them can do them. So it's like it's gonna get one-sided pretty fast.
Yeah.
So hopefully it's just like a burner workout where you just gotta
Where
go
everyone
hard.
can do it.
Yeah, pretty much. Where that would make for some solid entertainment. I got the song the Chicago Bulls get announced. too, when I
there
come
you
out
go.
there.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty sweet. So
Did you see Dan Bell was a ball boy?
That
for the
was-
Chicago-
that was good.
1995 Chicago Bulls.
No, I did not.
Oh, you got to look
Is
it up
that on
on
his
Instagram.
Instagram?
Yeah, that was.
And
He has the.
he looks like what you would think as a 10-year-old kid.
like.
I'm gonna
if
guess,
I had to describe
I'm
to
gonna
if-
guess it is the most top-heavy child.
Like
in
if
the
I
world.
saw Dan Bell and they're like, all right, go to that police sketch artist and describe him as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
Like that is what he
Yeah,
would come out
yeah.
as,
Oh my goodness.
and that just shows like some people are.
I want to ask him about that winner at the Arnold.
Yeah.
How that worked and
Yeah,
how-
'cause
what
he's,
that
like, right
experience
there
was.
with-
because he's like on the court with Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
and,
like one of the best teams of all
yeah,
time.
yeah.
Like just
I'm trying to remember how old I was when
I would have
saw
been-
the Bulls.
see, I was too.
I think I was.
I would have been
this was-
8 that year. Well, how old is Dan?
Dan's. I think he's like 30.
I was
So
gonna say, I
he
think
would have been 8, 9, 10 maybe. Yeah.
for me as a kid, I was too young to.
Dan's like 19. You're like, oh,
Yeah. I wasn't enough into basketball. Like I knew that they were really good, and I understood that Michael Jordan was really good. But outside of that, what was I like 7? And so
Yeah.
like basketball was still just too much for me to wrap my head around. Other than those guys are good.
When I was at a basketball function just this weekend, there was 2, I would say 10-year-old kids like in a hallway kind of horsing around with the basketball, like shooting it at the doorway and stuff like that. And the thing I literally heard one of them say to the other, which made me feel old for one of the first times, was Michael Jordan, he was like, you know how good Steph Curry is now? He was like that in the olden days. and I wanted to be like, whoa. Steph Curry is not as good as Michael Jordan was in the olden days. Like, let me stop you right there.
Yeah.
But he literally said the olden days.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, that was like 1996. It wasn't that long ago.
But then that was 22 years
Yeah,
ago.
yeah.
And you're old as fuck.
like Matt was telling me, Matt has a relative that teaches school, and she was telling him that in class one day, some of the kids were, I think it was like elementary school, some of the kids were talking about Tyler Woods, the best golf player of all time. And it's like they didn't understand that his name was
Tiger
actually
Woods.
Tiger.
Yeah.
Like, it's that long ago. And it's like, well, yeah, it's been quite a while
Yeah.
since he's played.
Yeah.
So
Since he's been worth a shit.
Yeah.
That's the real tragedy.
Yeah.
They took all the fun away from Tiger and then his game.
He stole his drive.
took his mojo.
He needed to be out philandering.
Like it was like Austin Powers. They took his mojo.
Some big fat man extracted his mojo.
Have what did we see here? I'm trying to think of what I saw this week. We talked Half Thor's 1003 deadlift. That was last week, right?
Yeah.
Did you guys watch his Road to the Arnold video?
I have not yet.
And who else is on there? Did you know that power lifter? Did you watch that Road to the
I
Arnold? or
just
not?
caught one of the clips on Instagram, but I didn't have enough time to watch all of them.
He's a USAPL single fly
Yeah.
equipped guy.
Yep.
Also really, I mean, all of those are good. So watch any of them that ever come out, but also really good. And then who is the other one? Jerry Pritchett has a Road to the Arnold this year, and you got to watch that.
I didn't know he had one.
And Jerry Pritchett legitimately works full-time manual labor jobs still. Like he wakes up at 4:30 in the morning.
Yes, Ryan was telling me this.
Yeah.
And then he said he worked. So explain it. He work like 10-hour days, and then
Yeah, like every day, like
And
a-
then
a
goes to the
10-hour
gym for
day,
like
and
4
then
hours.
Goes to, I think it's he either kind of owned the gym or he's made like everything that's in there because he's a metal fabricator.
Yeah.
So he has some tie to the gym and he has his crew that he works out with, but he gets done and finishes up by like 8 or 9 at night and goes home and he says, "Yeah, I sleep like 3 or 4 hours a night." And
Jesus.
and then
go
he's
back
in
to-
Phoenix too, correct?
Yeah.
So
Phoenix.
how is that man not sweating 24 hours a day?
He probably is.
I am.
Yeah. And it's like 5
20 degrees here today,
Yeah.
and I'm kind of hot.
But when you watch him, in contrast to say, Half Thor or Brian Shaw, it is a
Just
different
living
life.
that Hollywood
Yeah,
life.
Yeah,
Yeah. He's and it seems like a lot of
not
his,
like they
a lot
are,
of,
but like, they at least don't have jobs.
yeah.
You know,
And a lot of his training sessions just look blue collar.
Yeah.
Like
And-
it's just the dude doing
yeah,
the thing.
and he's at their level. Like, I mean,
Yeah.
he's maybe just
Well, and that almost could be the deciding factor. Like if he didn't have to work 10 hours, like I know for a fact, if I worked 10 hours a day, my performance would suffer very hard.
Yeah.
I mean, if I work at all, things start falling apart.
Yeah, if I worked a manual labor job at all,
if I had to work a real job, that would be like doing things where things are getting done.
Yeah.
You're paid upon things moving from a thing and becoming another thing. Fuck that. There's no way.
That'd be tough.
Yeah. Yeah. Those days are long behind me.
Well, I think that other guy, that single ply guy, wasn't he? Is he a cop or something?
Yeah, I think that's what.
Because even like Nick Tyluki, when we talked to him, kind of the same thing. Like being on this cop, like rotating schedule and all that.
Sleep gets weird.
God, that would suck.
And especially if those guys are at a high level. You know, they're at the highest level of their sport and what they do. So
Ronnie Coleman, a cop.
He was, but I don't know if that was like, you know, like if like how Shaquille O'Neal was a
cop.
cop.
I like in my head, I can't picture him being a real cop. Like I'm sure he has the talent to do it, but like that guy in a cop uniform should.
What is he gonna get out of the? Like, is he gonna get out of a car and write you a ticket?
Right.
I gotta look up to see. We gotta find out the details here.
Yeah, I think he was though. At one point in time, he was. You know, probably at the same thing when he really had to have a job.
Just the idea of Ronnie Coleman having a job.
Yeah.
Like that guy, like when he was like getting into his prime, like seeing that guy in the normal world doesn't.
One of these, just the questions that pops up is Ronnie Coleman still a police officer? Listen, I don't know, but I'm sure the answer to that is no.
No, I mean Ronnie. It seems like he's probably going through some like pretty tough physical times right now because every time I see he's having like another surgery of some kind.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay.
I think he's in the process right now of like hip surgeries or something like that. And
yeah, I can't imagine like what was it, 8 years of being the peak of bodybuilding is good for anyone's body.
The peak of bodybuilding, like during the peak of bodybuilding, like it doesn't even now, like it doesn't really get much better than you know, Ronnie
well, I mean,
Coleman
he's kind of the one that took it into where it is now.
Right.
Too.
Yeah. If you consider that to be the peak, you know, if you consider people would argue that they don't like it, but like he is, you know, basically made it what it is now.
I think Ronnie Coleman was a real cop, and like, so here
I
it
believe
says,
it.
and it says here, there's a video here of him responding to a disturbance, eating chicken and rice in his patrol car, nothing fancy, and then somebody asked him why he kept his job when he was the world's #1 bodybuilder. And I'm not going to watch the video, but the recap on it here is basically he kept it mostly due to the benefits that it had to offer him. Basically, I mean, good
Probably
benefits, good
and,
retirement.
You know,
None of those things you're going to get, even if you're making money
right
from sponsorships and shit. Like, they're not going to pay for your health insurance.
well, even if he was making
for life
$100,000 or something,
retire,
right?
Like, you know, it's just so that does make sense, I guess. And I'm going to guess maybe he was there for a while, and
So he was smart enough to have some.
I was just going to say kudos to him for being intelligent,
having a
enough
little
to
bit of
know
foresight.
Yeah.
like,
because I feel like a lot of people would not.
Yep.
oh, for real. The moment I get enough money from anything to where I don't have to work, I'm done. Like, no, we're done. Burn it all.
Especially like I would say even in like the fitnessy world of things, you'd even give people less credit of you know
like
having
a lot of those people, like as soon as they can at all not have a job,
Quit my job.
Did it.
Like, dang. Health insurance is really expensive these days.
That was exactly what I found out when I jumped to open my gym. I was like, I was already like, man, we are taking a pretty massive pay cut, whatever. And then after looking for, like, Megan had like a different job before, so I was like, oh well, I got to get health insurance now. And then I was like, oh, I fucked up. Like, I really fucked up.
It's expensive.
And then fortunately, she got a new job that has really good health insurance that's like unreasonably affordable. So that was good. But yeah, that would be a big deal, especially also when, like, if you're Ronnie Coleman, like,
you're going to be needing that health
you're going to be needing that. Like, you're going to get hurt at that level. You're going to probably have heart attacks.
But like, yeah, he's had. I mean, he looks a little. You know, he does not look like what Ronnie Coleman looked like when you think of him in the videos yelling. Like, he does not. You know, he. And granted, I don't know how old he is, but he's probably 50 or something. You know, so
I always got Ronnie Coleman and the guy from the who made all the noises from the Police Academy movies.
Michael Winslow, is that?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Like,
It kind of makes you wonder if like Instagram was around then. Like, would Ronnie Coleman still have just a stupid amount? Like, would he have an insane amount of followers on Instagram?
or I don't. You would think so, but or was it because it was such an
Was it because he was like this guy that popped up
Yeah,
twice a year
yeah.
and like you just saw him in magazines until then? Like that did that
Right.
add to the legend of it all?
That's his video, like of the video of him squatting 800 pounds and him yelling "lightweight baby" and
Yeah.
like his training partners laughing and like him doing nothing but a peanut dumbbells and chucking them. Like that was like the first fitness video that I probably ever watched, and I probably watched it. We watched it. I mean, 1,000 times probably.
It's so good though.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
it's like a totally one of a kind thing. And
Yeah.
if anyone does anything like that now, it's like, oh, they're just copying Ronnie.
Right. I
Yeah.
mean, I say yeah, buddy, in the
Oh,
gym
like
all the
that.
time.
That
and
is
it's
a
from-
thing. Like, I don't know if is there a spot places like actual gyms where people like lift hard and you say
don't-
yeah, buddy, and like that's like a lost concept. They don't know what that means.
No, I think everyone that's
Or
universally.
how many people just scream lightweight?
Yeah, that's
Always.
all the time. Like you hear that on like a daily basis, probably.
I mean, if someone's about to lift, they're all right, so what am I going to yell? That's what goes through.
Okay,
I got a few tools at my disposal.
Let's go. Come on, lightweight. Yep.
Let's go. Yep.
I say all those things all the time.
I think that's basically what we all got.
yeah.
Every once in a while, you're like, I'm gonna try a new one, and then you're like, that
didn't-
wouldn't
that
work.
didn't work. Yeah, it's too-
Didn't go over very
too
well.
long.
Yeah.
Why did I call him sweetheart? It's just really rooting for him.
And then with Ronnie, like everyone knows he has like this insane physique, but there's that one video where is he doing a powerlifting competition or something, and he cinches up that belt, and it's like, whoa, like
Yeah.
does he have a 20-inch waist?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
how does
Like,
he not
his-
snap in half?
His
Yeah.
quads are like 39 inches.
Yeah.
And his waist.
And his
Like
waist
that is for
22.
sure one. Like nowadays, if someone took a picture of that and put it on Instagram, people would be like, Photoshop. Like,
Yeah.
there's no way you would think that's real.
Right. But that's part of, I think, how he had so much universal respect across people is how strong he was, too. And
Yeah.
how he actually, I don't think that was his normal training, but how he
would do it
implemented
though.
heavy training.
Yeah,
into
like we
his
always talk
training.
about it. Like, why
Yeah.
don't one of the strong men just like do like a deadlift only
Yes.
meet or something
Yeah,
like? And like
yeah.
like Ronnie kind of entertained the idea a few times. Like
Yep.
he would push it. Like you'd always have these hypotheticals of,
Yep.
what if these huge equip benchers did a raw bench? Like just give the people
Yeah.
something to go with.
A really good quote of his I have that they like is talking from that video. I can't remember the exact weight he did for a triple, and it was like 805 or something like that.
Deadlifting or squatting?
Squatting. That squatting. He's wearing that blue. It's
Yep.
actually a single plied squat suit.
Yeah, was
that
it
he's
that
wearing.
Inzer suit
Yeah,
or-
yeah.
yeah.
And
Did he do it for two?
maybe it was two.
was
Okay.
two.
And they asked him, do you have any regrets about your training or your things that you did over your career that you're at where you're at now?
Yeah.
Is there anything you regret? And he said, the only thing I regret is that 805 squat, I should have done it for 3 instead of 2 or something like that.
I should have done it for one more rep.
Yeah,
I had one more rep.
Right.
Where most guys are like, oh, I should have like really pulled
Take it
back.
easy.
Like,
Taking a little more care of
Yeah.
myself.
The only thing I regret is I didn't do an extra rep on that. And I always really liked that.
yeah. Not the best way to live, but
No,
yeah, if
no.
someone
So,
else wants to be
yeah.
that guy.
Yeah.
But for real though, motherfucker's getting out of a car, writing you a ticket. There's like, how does he get into a police car?
I don't know.
Yeah.
And I don't know. There had to be some sort of like.
At a certain point, he had to have been a little bit like even if he went to work every day, they're
was
like,
kinda like
okay,
Steven
here,
Seagal.
yeah, here you
Like,
go. Here's what
listen,
you're gonna
here you
do,
go.
Ronnie. You know,
Yeah,
like
we like him.
He's kind of
Yeah.
like the
like
office.
it's great
Like,
having you around.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna go to the grade school today and have another
it's like
talk
just
with the kids
like
about.
morale alone.
Tell,
like,
yes.
tell him to say no to drugs.
Yes, yes.
Well, that's the nice thing with Ronnie is I just wish more bodybuilders would do it naturally the way Ronnie Coleman did.
Yeah. That also was at a time though too where maybe I'm wrong, but maybe people weren't as privy to that, and you could almost get away.
I think
I
so.
remember hearing.
I think pre-internet there was a lot more.
Naive,
Unless you were
you
heavy,
know.
yeah. Unless you were heavy into that scene, I think everyone
People
was pretty
really would
naive
believe
to
that.
it.
Yeah.
I've had dozens of people in the last few years, basically be surprised that the concept that Arnold was on steroids.
Yeah.
Or that are like, well, I wish these new guys would do it natural like Arnold. And we're like, well, guys, that's not like, not only that, Arnold has probably publicly admitted using steroids more often than these guys do now, because Arnold's not tied up to a supplement deal.
Yeah.
Right.
These other guys can't bring it up because they want you to believe that their protein did it. But like, you know, Arnold has I think even on like Dateline admitted to it before. So like,
and I think the excuse he likes to use is like, well, it was the 70s. We didn't really know better then.
Yeah, but like, and then, yeah, I don't know. But then I feel bad because it like breaks these people's hearts. Or they think I'm wrong.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not. So,
No, yeah,
so you
exactly.
can do, I mean, I just told you Santa Claus was on
It is like that, though.
Santa Claus was on steroids.
It is like that for a lot of people. Yeah.
Yeah.
But, yeah, Arnold half natty.
In comparison to some of these guys, I would assume he's like
Definitely pretty conservatively dosed.
Yeah.
The new guys now, well, see, even I think like that Ronnie Coleman era was when some of those guys got weird big. They said that was like a kind of a HGH thing where they got all thick in the guts and they just like grew everywhere. And then the waist went to shit after, you know, as they got older. But now the guys are so huge, and I think they've, like Bill Kazmaier says, they got their chemistry set really dialed.
You know who I saw on Instagram the other day that like actually like shocked me a little bit was that John Anderson.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
He really is like I hadn't heard anything from him because I don't follow him. I hadn't heard anything from him since the last time he was on Mark Bell's Powercast, which was probably like a year and a half, 2 years ago. And I always thought he was an entertaining guest. Like he's done a lot of stuff, he's seen a lot of stuff, he's speaking from experience, and I mean the guy does. He's got it. Like he's big, he's strong.
He's done strongman. He's been in the WWE.
Yeah. So he is the real deal. And he was talking about how he just wants to get freaky big, like the biggest anyone's ever seen. And then I just didn't hear anything. And then I'm like scrolling through my Instagram Discover page, and I see like this head with this stuff underneath it.
Yeah.
And I click, and it's him talking. I'm like, whoa, what is that?
His fucking traps are the size of like volleyballs.
Yeah.
And just his round. Now to the point where, like I see on his post, there's a lot of people throwing shots like his synthol and his traps.
Yeah.
The rest of it, you can at least see like striations and movement in the muscle. His traps, you just don't. Hope that's not synthol.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not natural, but they're fucking enormous. That is the
it's not
biggest
organic.
like trap structure I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And there's everything is so separated from everything
Yes.
else. It's like giant circular traps, 1 inch gap. Giant fucking delts, 1 inch gap. Biceps and everything is totally not meshing together because he's still super fucking lean.
Yeah.
But that dude is crazy huge.
Yeah, and I don't keep up big time on the bodybuilding scene. You know, I know maybe the biggest
You're
names.
more into the men's physique category.
Now that I can tell you a lot about, but I mean that is one of the freakier physiques I've seen.
Yeah.
It's strange, like crazy.
Yeah. Who's the
That's
guy?
fucking just bananas. Look at that
see that.
fucking guy.
Yeah. That doesn't look right.
Here, I don't even know if this is going to work, but I'll give you a little shot if you can see it on the old YouTube.
What's that head doing on top of that stuff?
That mountain?
That mountain of
So
skin.
he is _John with no H _Anderson with an E _IFBB _pro.
He was in Williston, North Dakota last year.
Basically,
Really?
the John Anderson IFBB pro with underscores in between the shit. So fucking huge. Those traps look weird though. It actually looks like someone injected a softball underneath his skin.
It does, yeah.
Everything else looks like it's made of muscle. I just don't know what his traps are made out of. But that is a freaky huge person. And so hopefully we all look like that next year.
That's the goal.
So I
Episode 200.
think episode 200
Goals.
we're gonna compare
It's been
that picture.
The
to
challenge
us.
is thrown down.
Fuck. So that's gonna wrap up the 100th episode. Hopefully we don't let you down during our next 100. We do have some big things planned. Do we want to tease what we're doing for 104 yet?
Well, 104 for people that don't get the milestone, that is 104 would be the 2-year mark.
Yeah.
So we're gonna go a little more.
We're really
going to
celebrate then.
Yeah. But
So if you're looking for that, just wait a few weeks.
Yeah, between now and then, we should have some good Arnold coverage for you guys, and
Yep.
yeah, 104 should be like a regular party.
Yep. It's going to be a regular party.
What's going to happen? Like, are you going to say anything about it?
I'll tell. Yeah, we'll tell them. So during the hour, I'm going to eat 100 chicken nuggets, 104 chicken McNuggets with varying dipping. See, I'm a sauce guy.
Oh yeah,
so
it's like the lubricant.
And actually,
for...
my best sauce still is ketchup.
I do not like ketchup with chicken nuggets.
Man, I like
I
ketchup
like the
with
sweet
everything.
and sour on chicken nuggets.
I'm gonna
So,
go
like
even
buffalo
honey
barbecue
is also really good with them.
Oh, that'd be good. What about the sweet and sour? Do you like the McDonald's?
Yeah,
sweet
McDonald's
And,
sweet
I
and
don't
sour.
know if
Sweet
I've
and
ever
sour is
had
not like sweet and sour.
I don't know if
sauce
I've
from
ever
anywhere.
had that ever.
It is good.
It's like a
not red.
creamy
It's not,
sweet and sour.
Yeah,
It's
it's not
weird.
What
like,
color is it?
Creamy reddish.
It's almost.
Okay.
I think
Pale.
it's like
Yeah. That's
Super weird.
Yeah.
Like, because I feel like making real sweet and sour, you could just put that in there.
right.
Yeah,
So I don't
think
know.
real
I
sweet
just
and-
don't know.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think real sweet and sour goes bad.
Right.
I don't know.
I don't. Yeah.
But it's weird that it's the way that it is.
Yeah. It's good though.
Yeah. But yeah. So I'm gonna smash 104 nuggets. So you're gonna listen to a lot of this.
So there's probably at least one person out there that has a fetish for that type of thing.
Yeah. So
and
if you like,
are gonna
yeah,
make
tell your friend who's into fat dudes eating.
What's your over under on finishing 100 chicken?
Oh, I'll
nuggets?
for sure finish them.
So
I'm pretty
100
sure.
like
I'm
10
pretty
to
sure.
10 to 1 off.
I've had 50 in one sitting casually amongst
what's
many
the-
other sandwiches before.
What's the time frame on something like that?
For
we're gonna have about an hour.
Well, we'll have an hour.
But I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
are you going to
For me to
actually
do it.
eat for an hour though? Like eating for an hour is a long time.
no, I'll have it done faster. Than
That's
that,
what I'm saying. Like,
yeah,
you think-
probably
Oh,
like
yeah.
20 minutes or
Okay.
less is my guess. I mean, 5 a minute is almost. I mean, I could do 10 a minute.
The first 4 you can just put together and go.
Yeah. The problem with the McNugget here's the
Is
deal,
that they
guys.
come out as one solid McNugget?
I have gotten intoxicated a handful of
McNugget.
times in the last couple of years, and one of my go-tos is to grab a shit ton of cheap McDonald's like dollar menu stuff on the way home.
like any self-respecting person does.
Obviously, right? And we're talking
If you haven't done that before, like I don't know if you should be listening
for
to
real.
this.
Yeah,
you know,
this is
like-
not your podcast. But we're talking like between 5 and 7 sandwiches.
Yeah.
You know, give or take. Like that's like not abnormal for me to do in that condition. So, so I've done before where I've had like 2 20-piece and a 10-piece, and then like 3 McChickens and a couple McDoubles. So I've had like 50 nuggets and 5 sandwiches in a sitting before, and not for a contest.
Right.
Well, I
like
can't
just
wait
me
just
being
to
sad
satisfy
in my,
yourself.
me being sad in my kitchen.
I
at
can't wait for
midnight.
episode 208 then, Tyler. Where
Yeah, if I really crush it, I guess we could just every episode we could
go
just.
one more. The progressive overload.
That's actually.
But it's
I think we should maybe do a different podcast that is that. It's a McNugget cast where we just.
the first episode you
just
eat one
linear
McNugget,
progression.
and the episode's only about a couple minutes long.
Yeah,
that
you
first
say
week.
a little thing, you
Yeah.
go on, you talk about whatever went
Next
on in your week.
You,
But by week 300,
could you not see that catching on to some extent?
I think someone out
Like
there.
by like
it'd
the
be on, like, a-
60th episode,
there'd be a BuzzFeed list of
Yeah.
like dumbest people on
Yeah.
podcasts you've never
Now,
heard
if
of.
you really want to build some steam virally here, is don't do it every week, do it every day.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
So then there gets to be the point where you had 75 McNuggets.
the day before.
And then today you got to have 76
How
McNuggets.
sick.
And tomorrow
Oh,
you got to
man.
eat
It's
77
It's just one day
McNuggets.
is just one day. You get through it.
I feel like
and-
even by the end of the month, I'd be pretty
Ooh,
burnt
that
out.
would
on
be
that.
bad.
So this is
That
my
would be
thing
really
with the
bad.
like I can eat a gross amount of calories at McDonald's.
We're looking
and
at
it's
about
fine.
4,500 calories
Oh,
for
that ain't
100
shit
chicken
then,
nuggets.
Yeah, so
Oh, it's not bad at all.
And about 245 grams of protein.
good.
Jeez.
We're about almost to my daily intake.
Yeah,
Almost.
and that's all I can remember. The fat was also pretty astronomical, but I can't remember the number.
Whatevs.
Yeah, but it's about 4,500 calories.
But the problem I have when I get McNuggets, when I get a lot of them, is that they are. I remember as a child, I believed that McNuggets were a little crunchier. You know what I mean? It felt like there was a little.
Not so greasy.
So you're
But
saying
now
in the last
they're
20
just,
years,
they're just soggy.
McDonald's might have skimped in the quality department a
Well, I
little
don't
bit?
know, and it seems like
They're not what they used to be.
And then because of that, they're so oily because, you know what I mean? They're not crispy, so they're just kind of soggy with grease.
Yeah.
And so that is where I know it's not going to be. Episode 204 is going to be challenging. If we get it another 2 years.
208.
208. You're right. 208.
Yeah. I'm kind of the episode math guy here. So.
In 11 years. So you have that to look forward to in 2 episodes from now. So there'll just be one episode between. No, it's 104. God,
yeah,
damn it.
Yeah.
We just talked about this.
This isn't a math podcast.
That's what happens when you send your kids to Catholic school. Jammed all the Jesus into your head and forgot about the math.
Not enough room left.
So, but that'll do it for us today, everybody. So in 4 episodes, there'll be 3 episodes that are not me eating chicken nuggets. I mean, I guess we can't guarantee that. I might have some.
Everything's subject to change.
I might have some next week.
We're going to be in an airport for a couple days there.
Then I can have I could do that. It'll be $700 worth of chicken nuggets.
We only sell them in 7 pieces at the airport.
Yeah, served.
And they're $13.
And they just dropped in front of you by an angry.
We also cooked them a
fatty.
couple days ago too. So
there you go, you piece of shit. Now get out of my line.
What do you want? I don't speak English, and yet somehow I've been put behind this thing to communicate with you. But anyway, that'll do it for us today. Thanks a lot for listening. Make sure you check us out on all of the things. Go to Massonomics.com. There you're going to find all our articles, old podcasts, videos. Also in the store, which is really the most important thing. Yep. Tanner is pretty much fully decked out in the gear.
Unfortunately for all of you guys, this was the last sweater, and I pulled the trigger on it today. So I was leaving it, the one remaining extra large, I was leaving it out there just in case someone wanted to buy it, but it tempted me for too long, and now it's off. The sweatshirt is off the website.
So tough shit. But you can get a T-shirt that looks like that. You can also get the hat that Tanner's got on. Tommy's got the T-shirt though. So you can get the Weekend Warrior T-shirt. I'm not wearing any of our stuff right now. If you're a big fan of male pattern baldness, I can hook you up.
You can get that on our store.
So
the Huge Life shirt, though.
The Huge Life shirt is the shit. Did we talk? We didn't talk about it last.
A little bit last.
Maybe we teased it.
Probably not enough.
Yeah. The Huge Life shirt is a tremendous hit. Actually, it's been flying off the shelves. You need to get it before your friends do, especially if your friends suck.
And some people have said, if I'm not huge, can I get the shirt? And that's also kind of the appeal to it is you don't have to be huge to be living a huge life.
Make it, guys.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, it might even have more impact if you're not huge and you wear this shirt.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people have actually asked that question too, and that's the answer. You don't have to be huge. We have it in extra small.
And also, like, just if you're into huge dudes, that's how you kind of put it out there.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, I like the huge life. Could mean a lot of things.
Yeah, of course. So, also, while you're there, scroll to the bottom of the page, sign up for our newsletter. People that were signed up for the newsletter got the first heads up on the Huge Life shirt.
Oh, and they took advantage of it.
Yeah. We basically had to reorder almost immediately. Fortunately, they all got in on that first wave, though. So if you want to get the heads up on all the new stuff that drops, sign up for the newsletter. Also, you can email us to give us money and things at getbig@massonomics.com. If you also want to buy us airfare to fly us places, to have us, interview you, Mark Bell, you can go ahead and do that too. What else do we have? The Facebook, follow Massonomics on Facebook.
Yep.
People still do Facebook. I only still do Facebook because you can use words.
It's easier to use
That's
words.
about it.
Yeah.
You can't really.
I think by the day it's interesting me less. Like
it really is.
Even over the last 12 months, my amount of I basically don't use it anymore. I don't know.
I go to get the notifications off, and
you do. You really go there to clear it,
and then look at what type of people that don't know very much are talking about politics today. And
we're like, man, this really seems like this is in your wheelhouse.
Oh yeah,
I have to find.
Pretty sure you don't know anything about that, so let's.
Right.
I want to know your opinion on this, though. And I'm sure everyone else does, so they can't change their opinion.
Guns would be the topic of the week that I'm not.
Guns are guns are going to be a front runner for topic of the year on Facebook.
Yeah.
Fun fact, though, I don't give a fuck about any of that stuff. But my favorite thing about Facebook is because you can use words. My version of politics is I state my opinion on a thing that's personally reasonable and has nothing to do with politics, religion, or anything, and people jump up my fucking ass about it. Such as, if you prefer your eggs with a runny yolk, there's a 99.9% chance that you don't have a beard or mustache of any significance. And I have 32 people fucking straight up
give their opinion
fucking
back.
like, you're a fucking idiot, blah, blah, blah. Have you ever seen us professional chefs eat your denatured eggs? Those are garbage. Blah, blah, blah. It just keeps going on. Not cool, man. Over easy. Blah, blah, blah. Other than omelets, beard or not, there's a 99% chance you're not a real American. I mean...
No topic is safe anymore.
The bullshit that I have to deal with for taking a stance on an issue that's important to me like that.
Is this Facebook or a YouTube comment section?
Exactly. Like, I just get fucking buried, you know? And then same deal. Friday, I said, guys... You can all stop pretending to like kombucha now. And fucking, I had 28 people chime in about how fucking kombucha's good and I'm a fucking asshole. So that's what you get for talking about the issues on Facebook, which we do not talk about on Massonomics.
So would you say cyberbullying's a pretty big problem
It's
nowadays?
alive and well. There I am, just...
I can guarantee you at least one of those people that disagreed with you in an unpolite way may have talked about cyberbullying and the dangers of it to people before too.
I'm sure. And here they come jumping my shit, belittling me because of my opinions.
Yep.
I don't know how people do it with politics then. That's why we stay away from it. So if you want to see things that are not us taking hard, fast stances on kombucha and runny yolks, follow Massonomics on Facebook.
Yep.
That was a long pitch.
Yeah.
Other than that, you can follow us on Instagram. I'm Tyler. You can find me at Tyler F. and Stone. That's Tyler EFF Stone. And Tommy?
You can find me at Tomahawk_D.
And Tanner.
The Massonomics Instagram account at Massonomics.
You just heard the Massonomics podcast. With your ears. You're welcome. Check us out on Facebook, find us on Instagram at Massonomics, and make sure you visit Massonomics.com and buy some of that sweet Massonomics gear. From your friends at Massonomics Studio, home of the world's strongest podcast, stay strong.